The modern world demands competency, but often presents skills as monolithic challenges requiring hundreds of hours. We introduce the Micro-Skill Mastery Project, a fundamental shift in how we approach learning. Instead of tackling vague, enormous subjects like mastering programming, we zero in on hyper-specific, useful actions. This project mandates 15 dedicated minutes per day for just 14 consecutive days, focused exclusively on one single constrained technique. This intense, short-burst methodology leverages the brain's ability to forge robust neural pathways quickly, bypassing the exhaustion associated with marathon study sessions. This isn't about deep theoretical knowledge. It's about immediate, actionable competence in a domain that provides disproportionate efficiency returns. Prepare to redefine what mastery means in a 2-week timeframe. The success of this project hinges on rigorous definition. A micro-skill is not merely a small part of a larger skill, it is a critical, high-leverage component that can be isolated, practiced, and quantified independently. Consider the difference between learning Excel and mastering the VLOOKUP function and conditional formatting shortcuts. Our first step is the isolation procedure. Before the 14 days begin, the chosen skill must be crystal clear and measurable. If you cannot define clear success metrics, if you cannot measure speed or accuracy improvement, it is too broad. We are looking for immediate performance enhancement, not delayed gratification. This focus ensures that the 15 minutes are utilized for deliberate practice, where failure provides immediate feedback, allowing for rapid adaptation within the session. Our first illustrative micro-skill is optimizing cognitive input, the ability to speed read a complex paragraph for core thesis. Most people read linearly, wasting cognitive energy on filler words. Our goal is to train the eye to scan for keywords and structural signposts, synthesizing the central argument in one pass. For days 1 through 3, the 15 minutes are partitioned: 5 minutes for warm-up, scanning basic text, 8 minutes for focused practice, timing performance against academic papers, and 2 minutes for immediate reflection and note-taking. The environment must be strictly controlled, no distractions, consistent lighting, and the same type of source material. We measure not just speed, but comprehension recall, ensuring the efficiency gain is meaningful and not superficial. This consistency builds the foundational habit layer. Shifting focus to efficiency in the digital domain, our next micro-skill targets software fluency, specifically mastering context-specific keyboard shortcuts in a primary application. Think of your most used program, Photoshop, VS Code, or Excel. We identify the 4 most repetitive multi-click actions you perform daily. For this project, we dedicate 15 minutes solely to automating those 4 actions via hotkeys. Day 4 begins with baseline testing. How long does the manual process take? The next 14 minutes are spent performing the action repeatedly, forcing the fingers into muscle memory. This practice must be divorced from real work tasks initially. It's pure, deliberate repetition. The goal is zero latency between the cognitive intention, I need to save, and the physical execution, Control S. By eliminating the mouse movement, we reclaim valuable cognitive bandwidth. Days 5 through 7 are crucial for cementing muscle memory and preventing the forgetting curve. When practicing shortcuts or speed reading techniques, the initial surge of novelty wears off, and the brain attempts to revert to old, inefficient habits. This phase requires discipline over motivation. We introduce slight variations in the practice environment, different monitor resolutions for the shortcuts, or new reading material topics for speed reading. This forces the brain to abstract the skill beyond the immediate context, making it robust. If you hit a wall, if the execution stalls or accuracy drops, you must immediately analyze the failure point. The 15-minute window is not just practice, it's a focused debugging session. We strictly adhere to the schedule, even when feeling proficient, as overlearning is essential for long-term retention of motor skills. Moving into interpersonal skills, we select a high-impact nonverbal micro-skill, identifying and interpreting micro-expressions of disagreement. This skill requires high-fidelity observational practice. Disagreement often manifests in subtle facial cues, a momentary tightness around the lips, or a fleeting widening of the eyes, lasting less than half a second. For days 8 through 10, the 15 minutes are dedicated to flashcard training using established micro-expression databases, followed by analysis of short, unscripted video clips. This training demands intense concentration to distinguish true involuntary emotional leaks from conscious posing. The benefit is profound. Being able to gauge genuine feedback or resistance in real-time professional settings, allowing for immediate strategic pivot during conversations. This is applied emotional intelligence, compressed into a 15-minute cognitive drill. Days 11 and 12 mark the critical transition from isolated drill to functional application. The challenge now is maintaining the micro-skills efficiency when multitasking or under pressure, the cognitive load test. For speed reading, try processing information while auditory distraction is present. For software shortcuts, integrate them into a live project environment where the cost of error is slightly higher. This stress test reveals whether the skill has truly become automatic or if it still requires excessive conscious effort. We allocate 10 minutes to the application under duress and 5 minutes to cooling down and immediate review of performance decay. If performance drops significantly, it signals a need for more overlearning rather than simply moving on. Adaptation, not perfection, is the focus here. The primary psychological hurdle in any accelerated learning project is the plateau, the phase where perceived improvement stalls despite continued effort. This often occurs around day 12 or 13. When facing this, the expert strategy is not to increase the duration, but to introduce a constraint. If practicing speed reading, switch to reading on a mobile device, forcing adaptation to a smaller field of vision. If practicing micro-expressions, analyze only the left half of the face. Constraints enhance the ability, which forces the neural system to seek more optimal pathways. This is not punitive, it is targeted stimulation designed to break cognitive complacency. Maintain the 15-minute commitment rigidly, but change the input variables slightly to push past the apparent ceiling. Day 14, the integration and review phase. This is the final 15-minute session dedicated to testing the accumulated competency against the initial baseline metrics established on day 1. Were you able to process text 20% faster while maintaining 90% comprehension? Can you now execute the core software shortcuts flawlessly in under 3 seconds? The true success metric is retention and automaticity. If the skill requires conscious retrieval, the project is only partially successful. If the action is now second nature, requiring zero cognitive overhead, mastery has been achieved within the defined microdomain. Document the final results rigorously, comparing the initial state, ignorance or inefficiency, against the final state, competence and speed. This documented success reinforces the effectiveness of short-burst, deliberate practice. The lasting impact of the micro-skill mastery project extends far beyond the specific skills learned. The most valuable takeaway is the meta-skill, the discipline to isolate, dedicate, and quantify small improvements. Once this process is internalized, the barrier to entry for learning any new useful micro-skill drops dramatically. This method proves that significant cumulative gains are accessible through minimal daily time investment, shattering the myth that meaningful progress requires massive sacrifices. We shift from a mindset of, "I don't have time to learn," to, "I have 15 minutes to improve." This framework encourages continuous, low-friction professional development, transforming your approach to lifelong learning and efficiency. Moving forward, the goal is habit stacking. When the 14 days conclude, immediately identify the next microskill for the subsequent 2-week block, or choose to reinforce the just acquired skill by allocating 5 minutes of maintenance practice during the next 14 days. The greatest danger now is complacency. Treat this project not as a single event, but as the inauguration of a continuous cycle of focused improvement. Remember, these microskills are compounding interest for your professional life. A 5-second saving, repeated 50 times a day, results in substantial reclaimed time over a year. The commitment to the duration, 14 days, was arbitrary. The commitment to the 15 minutes is the critical, non-negotiable variable for sustained success.
We have seen that mastery is not a destination, but a sequence of small, highly focused movements. The Microskill Project offers a blueprint for achieving tangible competence rapidly without sacrificing your existing schedule. We urge you to select your first microskill today, define your baseline, and commit to the 15-minute, 14-day challenge. If you found value in this deep dive into hyper-efficient learning strategies and feel inspired to start your own mastery journey, acknowledge the effort. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on advanced productivity frameworks and personal growth experiments. Share in the comments below. What is the single hyper-specific microskill you will conquer first? Your commitment starts